Yeah, that happened. That was episode 23. So I'm a spider, so what? They fought. Moving on. Yeah, I just got done with the 23rd episode. Yeah, as I joked, it was a boring episode. Nothing really truly happened, unfortunately. I mean, mechs showed up, so that's something, I guess. But yeah, that was a pretty terrible episode, I'm gonna be honest. Just really boring, terrible animation fight scene, and they had a few reveals in there, which is nice. Something at least we got out of the episode besides that terrible animation. But yeah, kind of a lot of focus went around how Hugo was unable to use his magic against Shun because Shun has this ability that he got from the Earth Dragon that he defeated. And then at some point, while he's down, this other second in command shows up and stabs him. And then he starts fighting Sophia. And Sophia obviously being really overpowered and Shun's ability not being able to affect her at all. They end up fighting for a while, and then Faye decides to jump in and try to stop the fight, but Shun is obsessed with not stopping the fight, so they continue, and then Shun's friend shows up, so that was a big shocker. And this is one of those kind of troubling moments where the frustration is in that nobody tells Shun what's going on. It's like communication can probably resolve this situation, but nobody wants to tell anybody what's going on. The assumption is that Sophie and them knows what's going on with the elf, or Potimus specifically, but they don't say anything. At least Shun's friend tries to say something to him, but Shun doesn't want to listen because obviously they're in the right? Teacher is still trusting what Potimus said. But this is kind of frustrating part because the teacher obviously knows that she can't trust Potimus. I think she said at some point that she can't trust Potimus. But yet, in the eyes of somebody saying that the elves are the problem, she still defends them. So it's kind of a contradiction there, which kind of frustrates me. I guess it's not so much a contradiction because her true belief is that the admins are behind everything. And so obviously there's something amiss going on, which I guess I can give it credit from that. Despite this, we also have Sophia kind of specifically states that she's not going to kill any of the reincarnates because that's what she was told not to do. She was talking about taking out the halfling because she's not a reincarnate. But aside from that, of course, again, we had Potimus pretty much stating that the reincarnates serve the purpose they were going to serve. He doesn't care about what happens to them. He decides to deploy them, which thems end up being these mechas that he actually apparently has control of, which technically creates the question of who is Potimus? In the last impressions, a lot of the discussion that I had was kind of falling around the idea of Gilius essentially pointing out that this fight that has been going on for a long time will come to an end or something like that, which leads me to believe it wasn't necessarily pointed at Ariel and Kumiko, but specifically Potimus and Ariel. Because it says something like that. Potimus says something like, little girl, this continued fight or something like that, which leads me to believe that he is reincarnate as well, and he is utilizing this technology. Now, the question really comes is this technology the birth of a modern time reincarnate going over there and essentially using the fantasy world to create a mecha because he knows about mechas from our time just based on, fantasy novels and stuff? Or is he from a world where mechas exist, not ours, or possibly from the future of our current timeline where we do have mechas? And that's kind of the interesting thing that actually creates is he from another timeline that has mecha, or is he from our timeline and just manages to create mecha from the technology or lack thereof? Just the idea of fantasy, I guess, is it creates the ability to create these mecha. So it does lead me to believe that what's going to happen is, Sophia and this other guy, Shun's friend, is probably going to be pretty badly hurt or in the act of being hurt by these mecha. And then the white-clad lady is going to show up and protect them. And then possibly we'll get a final answer on it. This is the big struggle that I have right now. We have one episode remaining. Now, I don't remember if they've said that they've already confirmed a second season. I struggle. I really do struggle with if I want another season or not. Or at least another season from this studio. I would love another season, not from this studio, please. But it does create the big concern, the idea that we only have one episode left, and we have way too many hanging fruits right now. We have where the mecha come from, who will win between Ariel and Potimus. Will they reveal to them who Kumiko is, or will they reveal to us who Kumiko is in the future timeline? Will they reveal to them Kumiko? What's going to come of this fight? Will they reveal what Ariel's actually after? There's so many questions and none of them are answered because we essentially have wasted an entire episode on a crappy CGI slash 2D fight between Shun and Hugo and everybody else in the mix. So, yeah. Koya. That was the name of Shun's friend. Koya. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. I'm searching my head for anything else in this episode. There really wasn't anything else. Just feels like a very big waste of an episode. Just nothing but crappy fighting animation. This studio needs to get their crap together. I don't know what if they just had a really low budget or what, but they just didn't do really any. I mean, they've shown they can do decent animation. Don't get me wrong. They've shown they can do good stuff. It's just, it seems like they default on not so good stuff. And that's what we're left with, which I'm very unfortunate. Unfortunate for the So Much Better, So What franchise itself is to have they finally get their adaptation and it's this quality. It does frustrate me. It's not a bad story. It's actually a story I've had a lot of fun digging into and speculating on, and it's unfortunately very poorly done from a animation standpoint and presentation standpoint. So that's my thoughts on episode 23. Again, we will have a final episode next week, which will end the season. Again, I don't know if they have another sequel already announced for it, but I'm hoping we have at least a closure on who Kumiko is in the future timeline. That's all I'm asking for. Just give me that closure, and then we'll say goodbye to it. But that's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this impressions. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I thank you all for watching, and y'all take care.